Happy spring! We made it through the winter. Finally, we're into spring. And guess what? We're at the end of the alphabet. We're finally to letter Z. We started off in summertime and now we hit the spring, and it's time to end cooking through the alphabet. But don't worry, we'll be cooking up something else. I'm not sure what, but stay tuned. We'll figure out what it is. So I was trying to think, what are we going to do? What are we going to do for our grand finale? So I decided to make something zippy. The zippity-doo-dah meal. I know you thought it was zucchini, right? Didn't go with the obvious. So we're going to make two different recipes using almost the same ingredients. And it's going to taste different. I had a test taster here today, and they tasted it and said they were different. So we're going to start off and we're going to make a sweet potato black bean chili. And we're also going to make chicken paprikash, which is very good. But we're going to start off with the same ingredients, and we're going to put some olive oil in the bottom of a Dutch oven with a lid. So a couple swirls of this. We're going to cut up 3 or 4 sweet potatoes with the skins on, dice them up. Same thing with 3 or 4 onions. We're going to get those going back on the stove until they get just a little bit soft, maybe 5 minutes or so. Then you're going to take it off the heat, and we're going to separate. We're going to take half of that mixture and put in another pot because, again, we're making 2 different recipes, remember. So what we'll start off with now is we're going to make the paprikash. So since it's called chicken paprikash, of course, we're going to have to add some chicken. So into this Dutch oven with half of the onions and the sweet potatoes, we're going to add some chicken. Now, I like to buy my chicken frozen in bags, and this happens to be those tenders. So I would add 4 or 5 of these little tenders to the bottom, and I would just separate the onions and the sweet potatoes and put those in the bottom. And I like to add some sausage for the smoky flavor. So I buy the turkey sausage like this. I only used one of the links. I cut it up and threw it in the bottom too. So you're going to let that sizzle and cook all together. So once that gets going, we're going to add 1½ cups of water. Or if you have chicken stock, you can add that as well. But I like to use this kind of chicken stock. It's the powdered version. And all I'll do is add a tablespoon or so. I like being in control of what the flavors that I'm having. So this gives me a little more control if I only use about a tablespoon. But again, it's to taste. So you're going to add that, and that's going to add some flavor to it. But then we need to add some more flavoring. So we're going to add smoked paprika, a generous amount of this. We're going to add a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of regular paprika, if you have it, and 2 bay leaves. And of course, my all-time favorite, bacon salt. We're going to have to sprinkle with that a little bit too. So we're going to let that all cook around together. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of my capers. And of course, then a can of the diced tomatoes. Now, it can be diced or crushed. Or maybe you have some frozen in the freezer that you already have from the summer. You could use those as well. So that's going to all be cooking. And the last ingredient is a little bit of wine. Half a cup of wine you're going to add near the end, and just mix that through and let it simmer on low. Put on the back burner, let it simmer while we get ready with the other recipe. Now the other recipe, in another Dutch oven, you have the onion and the sweet potatoes, remember. We're still going to add 1.5 cups of water, and we're still going to add our chicken stock. We're going to let that cook up. And we're going to add a carrot or 2 if you'd like. Maybe you want to add a few other vegetables, whatever you happen to have is fine too. So we're going to let that cook for a few minutes, not long. And you're going to add some tomatoes to that as well. And then we're going to add in a drained black beans, a can of drained corn, and we're going to add some chipotle peppers. Now, these are rather hot, and I don't use them that often, but I like to buy a can. And what I'll do is use half of a pepper, and then I put the rest right in the freezer. I just put this in a baggie, zip it, and put it in the freezer. And when I happen to need chipotle, I just bring it out and just scrape it off with a knife. Because this has probably last me 6 months or so, because I don't use it too often, but it is needed, and it does add a nice smoky flavor to our whatever we're cooking. And it happens to be the chili right now. So we're also going to add paprika. We're going to add some cumin to our chili as well, a little bit of that. And last but not least, we're going to have some lime. So we're going to add a little bit of lime juice to it. So that's going to be all cooking back there and simmering. And it really does have a different taste than the paprikash. When the paprikash is almost finished, you're going to make a well in the middle, and we're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil and 2 teaspoons of flour. We're going to mix that together and then mix that through the paprikash and let it cook 5 or 6 more minutes. and that will thicken it up very nicely. And you'll just smell the aroma in the house, and oh, it's just delicious. So when you're finished, you're going to take the paprikash, just like I did here, and usually you put it over something. Buttered noodles, pierogies, raviolis. I happen to love tortellini. It's one of my favorite pastas to make. They're very easy. Pretty much you just dunk it into the hot water and bring it out, and it's just about finished. But I put about a cup on the plate, and then I just put the paprikash over top. You can see how good that is with the chicken and the capers and the tomatoes and the sausage. Delicious taste. Wonderful, wonderful flavor. Again, all you used was one pan. Now for the chili. Again, delicious with the corn and the beans. And this is quite vegetarian. So if you have some friends over who don't like to eat the meat, you can whip this up in no time. It didn't take any time at all. I'm guessing 45 minutes for both of these to be finished. And if you'd like to add some meat to this, it's fine. You could add chicken, you could add some ground beef, ground turkey to it to make it a little more hearty. But it's, again, a delicious taste. And you can really adjust the heat of it. You can add a little more paprika. You could add some more chili powder to it if you care to. It's delicious too. Some people, when they make their paprikash at the very end, stir in some sour cream. And that's an option that you can do too. I don't, but I'm always watching, the calories. So this is a pretty Weight Watcher friendly meal. But if you care to add the sour cream, that's wonderful too. So those are the two meals just made from several simple ingredients: sweet potatoes, onions, some tomatoes. Pretty much if you have those on hand, you can make a lot of different things. So I hope you've enjoyed cooking through the alphabet. I know that I've enjoyed making the food, and I just hope that you have a healthy, happy summer and spring. And I hope you'll look back again once in a while and see if there's anything else cooking here with Grace. And hopefully we'll have some more healthy recipes for you. So as always, healthy, happy cooking to you, and happy spring.